Welcome to English Total Grammar Lessons. Chapter 7. The Past Continuous. Today we will be looking at the past continuous and how you can use it in conversation, especially when you tell a story. We can use the past continuous to talk about actions or events that were in progress at some point in the past. Here's an example.
We were painting the house when the phone rang.
And I was also helping.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about structure now, as usual. This is the basic sentence structure in the past continuous. First, there's the subject, followed by was or were, and the verb in ing form. Quite simple, isn't it? Now, this is the structure for positive sentences. And this is the structure for negative sentences. As you can see, the only difference between positive and negative sentences is the use of not after was and were. Take a look at these examples.
I was going to a meeting when I ran into Cindy.
We weren't expecting our delivery when it came.
All right, now let's talk about question formation. This is the basic structure for questions in the past continuous. You start the question with was or were, followed by the subject, and then the verb in ing form. Notice that it is necessary to use was or were according to the subject of the sentence. Here's some examples.
Were you working when I called this morning?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, what were you doing?
I was packing my suitcase. I am leaving.
Please note that you can also use short answers in the past continuous, which by now you should know how to use. So we are not going to cover them in this lesson. Let's continue. Finally, let's take a moment to discuss the interaction, which often happens between the past simple, that we already covered in a previous lesson, and the past continuous. Take a look at this example.
Jimmy called when we were having dinner.
As you can see, we have one event that happened in the past, which is that Jimmy called, while another event was in progress, which is that we were having dinner. These two tenses, the past simple and the past continuous, are often used together to tell stories in the past. Here's another example.
It was raining when I got up and it was very cold. My mom was baking cookies in the kitchen. I love days like this.
In this example, the sentence, "It was raining," which is the past continuous, establishes the context for all the other events that took place in this particular story. In today's lesson, you have learned to use the past continuous to talk about events that were in progress in the past. You also learned that when you tell stories, the past continuous often establishes the context for other events that also happened in the past. This makes it a great tool for communicating clearly. We hope this lesson was useful. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. This is the end of Chapter 7.